graffiti. Fuck. So I started tagging when I was in grade school, 8th grade. Like really tagging, like hitting up on buses. Before that, it was 6th grade, and I was hitting up on books, and learning, of course, toy, and the first time I ever saw graffiti in San Francisco was so sick. This must have been the mid '80s, and I went to the San Francisco Zoo, and they had this jungle gym there, and that thing was just fucking bombed. And it was like the 4 main crews of that area, or even of San Francisco at that time. I saw a lot of ROTs, MCs, USC, United Street Crime, RSP, BOK, Boys on Brotherhood of Crime, Boys on Crack, THK. I mean, and the style was kind of all the same. That old '80s one flow, which to me is one of my favorite styles. By the way, the video you're watching now is Malicious Mischief. I'm in this thing, you can see me painting in one part. But it's on YouTube if you want to see it. Malicious Mischief. It was the first graffiti video that came out about San Francisco. So what you're watching, these cats right here, this is like 93. TMF and them did this, Doug. 95. I got it I forget where I got it, but I bought the VHS tape. From behind the post office on Haight Street. I'll never forget it. I was so stoked that they had a video come out. See, because San Francisco riders, when the LA invasion happened, we had to step up, like, especially the Peacer riders and the ones that had been putting it down. Like, we felt that we couldn't let whole crews of Los Angeles riders just come to San Francisco and completely bomb it when we have already been doing so, right? And shit, that's a whole other story in itself. I'll get to it. But so this video kind of came out when kind of things became all friendly with the LA crews, if I remember correctly. Because there was a time ICP was battling MSK. There was fights. I mean, Friday night bar night. You run into the. It was those days were dope. Don't get me wrong. I love those because no one had really had guns and all that. It was really using guns, and it was just straight graffiti battling. Cause shit, we were already in our 20s. We thought, and a lot of dudes came back in the mid 90s just because the LA cats that came up here, LTS crew, MSK crew. AWR, of course, but mainly MSK killed shit. AD crew, which was, I think it was, anyway, all those guys. This is the Ghost Yards right here. That's Doug right there painting the skull in the front. But anyway, so first real taggers I met, I was on a bus. It was so sick, bro, and I hadn't really met any yet. And here comes on, and so I was a freshman, and here comes on four dudes, and I knew who they were because they had SF hats with the crew on the side embroidered, and their tag on the other side, like a turf hat, which is what we used, gangsters used to wear, but taggers would wear them too. So it was Cole on one side, said Cole, other side BVD. Then Scoo came on, Scoo, BVD. It was 3 of them, and Dose, who became my friend, Disco ADP, Rain Doherty, good dude. He gets on the bus. He was in BVD at the time. These were the 3 BVD youngsters, Scoo, Cole, and Dose, DOSE. anyway, that was the first time I met real riders, and I kept in touch with them and started kicking it with Scoo and Cole. And I don't know if I want to get into too many names. So then I started, but when I started kicking with them, I was already involved with this other crew, had started this other crew in the Sunset District, and then ended up citywide. And we came back later in the 2000s, but yeah, 2017. But graffiti was awesome. Hitting the yards. If you didn't hit the bus yards, before they closed them in the mid 90s, basically, then you really weren't shit. And also, you had to have good style to be in a good crew. That's it. Period. Point blank. So once you got those two things down, you'd start hitting yards, and your style got good. You pretty much had your choice of crews, basically. If you played your cards right. It's probably like that everywhere. Man, these times were just incredible for any San Franciscan, because the city was never bombed like this. Before LA and all these riders came to the city, fuck, man, we were just hitting buses and shit. Downtown wasn't bombed in the 80s and shit. Rooftops, we weren't doing rooftops. I hate to say it, but LA taught us a lot of that stuff. And go figure, I'm in an LA crew too. Love those dudes. That's like my second family. But I would have never thought that. But now I look at graffiti names, the state of graffiti in San Francisco right now. I give it to them. The youngsters, they get up hard, and they've learned skills that, rooftops, that kind of shit. They're coming out harder, I think, than we came out harder on the streets. They were straight to the streets when we, in my time, late 80s, early 90s, it was buses, and basically only buses. But man, some of these names these taggers are picking these days, like, I'm not going to name any because I know a couple of them, they're cool, but I just want to be like, bro, what happened to the picking a dope ass name like Villain, or to give some real names, dudes that had sick tags? Lethal Arm, an old friend. Man, Lethal's a sick ass tag. Another one, my homie Game, Game. Man, Game's a sick tag. What happened to those tags? Like a word that was tough. Let me think of some other ones. Spy. Oh my God, that's such a sick tag. Dream. Another just like transcendent word, tag. Yeah, tags now are just kind of funny words and shit like that, He's on 280 right here. 280 south, as a matter of fact. Actually, 280 north, going towards the bridge. I could just tell. What else? Some of the first stuff I saw on there, some of the things I saw. So I remember I was on my way to high school, and at a stoplight in a car, and here goes this Metro in front of me. This must have been 1991. It said Master Troop, Master Troop. 2 trains, Metros, from front to back on both trains, top to bottom, in the fattest cap, dude. Besides that dude, and besides Up, Boast, Froggy, those dudes had the fattest caps back in the early 90s, late 80s. Of course, they made them, I think. But because you just couldn't get a hold of those super fats back then. I think you could. You had to order them or something. But or we would take them off of like spray cleaners. Actually, I think that's what a lot of guys did. But there were so few guys using such fat caps back then in San Francisco. that I could name just 2 right there, you know, and 1 really, which is Boast Up. Everyone knows him for that. One of the sickest battles I ever experienced was battle with BVD and TDF. And a matter of fact, ARM came in on BVD side. So it was basically ARM, BVD, because they were both from 24th Street, even though BVD 3812 was like, they were from down at the donut shop, Church and Mark on 24th, whereas TFP and them, ARM, were from 24th and Mission. So, you know, they were obviously likely friends. So they went at it against TDF, and bro, talk about crushed buses. I remember, and no diss to ARM. ARM was always a sick crew. Everyone will say that. Always rocking Muni. But I remember seeing the side of a bus. It was a big ass ARM tag, and then someone crossed it out and it said broken. So it said broken arm. They like drew some like arm in a cast. It was funny. You got to remember, in these times when we were hitting buses, you had piecers and then you had the taggers. The piecers weren't really as much into the gritty graffiti. I guess that's not true, because you had got guys that piece too, but now it seems like kids could piece shit before they get good tag style nowadays. It's interesting how it's switched up like that. Before, you'd get your name down first before your piece name, you know. Yeah, the shit you're looking at right now, you'll never see in San Francisco again. I mean, I hope you will, but man, good times. So when the LA Cats first came up here in the mid 90s, there was obviously funk, right? And so overnight, downtown was bombed. I mean, we had never seen anything like it. When I say we, I say riders that grew up in San Francisco, because it's such a small city, we all knew each other. So crews came out just to battle these LA guys, FN for one, Frisco natives. But ICP basically held the torch for Frisco against MSK. And, I know there was a couple fights. On Hospital Curve, there's a freeway there, the freeway 101 North going downtown. If you look up to the top right before you get to the 16th exit, there's this fence there. It's not there anymore. Well, I think it is. There's a solid fence, and man, for like 2-3 months, MSK ICP battled for that motherfucker. And 1 week was MSK, next week it was ICP. It was the sickest thing, and I feel like I'm the only one that ever remembered that battle. I mean that spot battle, and it ended with ICP. But I have nothing but love for what I have nothing for love for LA Cats, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, they showed Frisco a lot, and a lot of my homies are from there now, so I have loyalties to some LA people too, but crew. But anyway, yeah, man. What else? I'm old, but I still tag. Just tag. I haven't bombed in a while, but I have a couple more in me. When one of my best friends gets out of prison, I know for a fact the crew's going to come together, and we're just going to destroy the city like we did from 2017 when I met him, and this kid from LA, and he'll get out on, man, I don't know, he'll have federal parole for a year. We'll do slaps at least, but when he finally gets out that, I'm hoping we can get back to where we were in the late 2000s, early 2000s. Shit is early 2000s. Anyway, I'm going to do a graffiti part 2. Happy holidays, y'all. Peace.